All right, so in the last lecture, we have basically in part one of order API lecture, we have added order related APIs like how you can place an order, right? And how you can find out all of the order of a particular user. All right. Now, there are other things that you can add here, like update an order and delete an order, right? Those APIs I'm leaving for you as an exercise because this is going to be an easy one, right? And it won't teach us anything special, right? So instead of that, I'm going to add an API here. So we have a cart controller, right, that provides cart APIs. Now, what we want here is that we know that we have added some items in our cart and we want to place an order using those cart items. So what we are going to do, we are going to add an API here in the cart controller that lets you place an order directly from the cart. And then once you have placed an order from the cart items, the cart should become empty. All right. So in here, in this API that we are going to add, we will learn about transactions also. All right. That's why I'm I want to teach you this. So we will add again a post mapping, mm, post mapping, and slash order slash checkout. Let's say. All right. And then I need the user ID slash cart slash checkout slash user ID. Now from here, there's going to be public response entity. From here, we should return an order, right? That we have placed an order. Uh, let's call it checkout. All right. And we have something in our path. So basically user ID will get using the path variable. Now that we have a path variable user ID, using the user ID, we can fetch all of the items of basically cart items of a user, and then we can contact the order API to place an order, and we'll get back the order object, and we'll return that as a response. All right. All right. Oh yeah, just one more thing. Instead of making all of the changes here, what I'm going to do, I'll create a new, let's see, do we have any changes? We don't have any changes. Yeah. Let's create a new branch, right, and call it lecture 11. So all of the changes that I make in this lecture, you'll be able to get it from lecture 11, right? Now I can add it. We have post mapping here. Now, so card controller will contact the card service. And in card service, we have to provide a function that is uh, public order uh, checkout. All right. And we will get user ID. And using this user ID, we'll fetch all of the order item of a user. Sorry, all of the cart items of a user, and then we'll place an order, and uh, to place an order. Basically, we'll contact this order service. All right, this function. So we'll pass an order object. It will place an order and will return an order object, the placed order object that we can return from here. All right. So first of all, we need to find the list of cart items of this particular user. All right. So update cart items, fetch user cart items. We already have this. So let me just push it a little bit up here. All right. Come on. All right. So using this API, this fetch user cart items, I can get the cart item of a user. So list of cart items, let's call it cart items, is equals to fetch user cart items. We can pass the user ID, so we have the cart items. All right. So now, uh, let's say cart item is empty. If yeah, instead of size equals to 0, I think. is empty. If the cart item is empty, we can throw new invalid operation exception. Yes, we are trying to do an invalid operation. User doesn't have items in their cart. All right, and we are going to throw this. So of course, throws invalid operation exception. So if that is not the case, that means we have some items in our cart. So let's create an order, and using the order service, I don't think we have order service here, correct? Private final order service. And again, we are going to utilize this dot order service equals to order service. Let me close this one. So now we have the order service which you can utilize. So what we are going to do, we are going to create an order object. Order is equals to new order, and finally we are going to return order service dot place order, and we can pass the order here, right? Was that it throws, I think it throws, yeah, it throws an invalid id exception, so we need to add that here also. Now that we have this order object, let's go ahead and populate it, right? So we need to provide the user id in here first of all. So order dot uh order dot set user, right? So we can set user, we need to provide a new user in here. All right, so I need to create a new user here. So first of all, one important thing here is that we need to make sure that this user ID is actually valid. All right, so we'll contact the user repository like this. One thing you might notice here, that this validation we are doing a lot at a lot of places. So what you can do, you can fetch it here in a single uh, utility function, and then you can utilize that at different places. All right, that is some change I would like you to do as an exercise. All right, so yeah, this basically follows the try principle, which is don't repeat yourself. So user repository dot find by id, we can directly provide the user id. If we didn't find the user, it will throw an exception. Otherwise, user ID is valid and we already have a user. Once we have the user in the order service, we can set the user. Order dot set user. We have the user and we have set it. Now let's set all of the uh, order items, right? So we have the cart items. Each cart item will be converted into an order item. All right. So for my bad, yeah, for cart item, each cart item, we are going to convert it into an order item. All right. So order item is equals to new order item. Now item dot set name, cart item dot get name. Similarly, item dot set price, cart item get price, quantity. I think for order item, these are the essential things: name, price, and quantity. Yeah, right. Once we have that, food item and all, yeah, I need to also assign the food item. All right. So cart service in here, we need to also assign the food item. So let me just check whether this cart item has the food item. It has the quantity. My bad. It has a quantity, item name, item ID. We have the item ID using which we can set it there. All right. So food item is equals to, we are not going to fetch it here, new food item. And in the food item, you can set ID. I think in the food item, we haven't made it. We don't have a getter and setter. We have the getter only, we don't have the setter. So let's define public void public void set id Okay, we have the setter also now. So set ID, and you can pass the cart item dot get ID. Okay, this is the food item ID, and then in the food item, that is item, you can set the food item. Once we have this in the order, we need to set a list of food item, right? So we need to have list of food item also. List of food item, let's call it food item list is equals to new array list, right? Once we have our food item ready, uh, in the food item, was food item list, right? Food items, my bad. Dot add. You can add it. And before doing anything, before placing an order, what you can do, you can set this order dot set order items. Okay, not the food item list, order item list. Order items, order items dot add item. This is the thing that we are generating, and then order items list we can add here. So in the order, what important details we need to add? First of all, you need to provide the list of order items that we have provided, the user that we have provided. That's the only thing. The if you remember, the amount is auto generated, right? So let me just cut this, go back here in the cart service. Yeah. So in the order service, if you look here, place order, this is cart service. I want to go to the order service. My bad. Order item, order controller. Where's the order service? Order service. In here, if you see in place order, we generate the amount ourselves. So we don't have to set it, right? So we only have to set the user, which we are doing here. We need to set the order items, which we are doing here. The rest of the things are generated there. So we don't have to do anything. Order is equals to new order. Is there some issue? Long surrounding method. Ah, it's fine. Uh, okay, so we have set the user, we have set the food item, that's it. Then we can place an order and return it. This is the checkout. Once we do that, there's one more thing that we need to do, and that would be to delete all cart items. All right. So before we do that, let's go ahead and test this that we are able to uh, perform the checkout. You remember what you do, you have some items in the cart, you place an order. Once you place an order, all of the items from your cart are gone. All right. So once you do that, once the order is placed, you need to delete the items also. Right. We'll do that in a moment. But before that, let's utilize this cart controller. In here, what you'll do, you'll return a response entity dot status will be http status dot created, because you are making some entries in the database, and the body would be card service dot checkout. You can pass the user ID. Once you have that, I think it talks about the exceptions. We have added the exception there. So now we have an endpoint to place an order from the cart. All right, so let's go ahead and test it if it works. So let's start with this. So I've added this API checkout, right? Post API, post call, cart slash checkout slash user ID. We are passing nothing else. One more thing. In here, if you see in the cart, as of now, we don't have any item. In the order, we don't have any order. If we don't have anything in the order, of course, we won't have anything in the order items. If you go back here and add items into the cart, so in this user ID, we are adding this burger, and the quantity we want is to add 3. My bad. Ah, my bad. Yes, we haven't even started the server. All right. So the server is up and running. Go back here. Yeah. So we have added 3 burgers, price of which is 69.99. So if you look at here in the cart, we have cart item, right? We have added burger in our cart, and it is off price 69.99, and we want three quantities of it. As of now, we don't have anything. My bad. Uh, Go back here, go back here. As of now, we don't have anything in this order, right? So we have something in our cart which you can verify using this. Yeah, we have, right? Uh, and then we have this checkout. So slash cart slash checkout and the user ID. If we do that, see, our order have been placed. Order ID is 2. This is the total amount because 69.99 for a single burger. We have three, or we have ordered three of it, right? So that's why the total amount. And the order was created at this time. So if you go back here in the cart, you see here this. My bad, not in cart, in the order. We have placed an order, and in the order items, we have this. We have the order item, we have placed the order, and the thing is, yeah, basically the checkout API works, but we still have the cart item in our cart, right? Which should not be the case. Once you place an order, I mean, if you want, you can leave it as it is, but the good way would be to, when you place an order, you remove element from your cart. Your cart basically should be empty, right? So we need to make some changes in our API. So when we place an order, basically when we check out from the cart becomes empty, and you'll take care of that in here in the cart service, right? Once you have placed an order, just do this, Control X, uh, order placed order is equals to, yeah. Now, once you have placed an order, what you can do is go ahead and delete all cart items of this particular user, right? So what you can do is cart service, cart, are we calling it service only? Where am I? In the cart service, yes. And we have the cart repository. Oh my bad, we are in the cart service. We'll use cart repository. So in the cart repository, you can say something like delete by user ID. As you can see, it shows cross. This function Spring Boot can provide, but we haven't added its definition there. Not definition, just a second. And here you can pass the user ID. So basically, this function, what it will do, it will delete all of the cart items of this user by user ID, right? But for Spring Boot to provide the definition of it, we need to define the function in the repository, right? So nothing, delete by user ID. All right, you provide the user ID and we're done. So basically, delete by user ID function you have defined. We don't want anything for it to return. And then we can provide the user ID. It will delete it. So we have only provided the function uh, declaration. Spring Boot will generate the implementation of it. Let's go back here in the cart service. Now, since we have that, we can go ahead and call this function. And then after that, we can return the place data. But uh, this is a very important concept of transaction. See, what is happening here, a lot of operations you are performing in a single operation. In a single operation, I would say a lot of things you are doing in a single operation. That is, you're fetching all of the cart items, then you are generating an order, then you are placing an order, and then you are deleting all of the cart items of the user, right? A lot of things are happening. What if you have placed an order and then your application crashes, right? This piece of code won't be executed, and hence your database will be in an inconsistent state. And the database should provide asset compliance. That means your database should be in consistent state to make sure that everything, either all of these operations perform completely, all of these operations are completely executed, or none of them are executed. Basically, if half of the operations are executed, let's say you have only placed the order but you have not deleted it, you have not deleted the cart items, so there should be a rollback that, hey, don't even place the order. So either all of these operations perform successfully or none of them do. This is basically atomicity, right? So how do you achieve it? So you need to tell the Spring Boot that treat this whole function as a transaction. So whatever is written inside of it, treat it as a transaction. If we get any exception in between and we have made some changes in the database, those should roll back. To do that, what you can do, you can annotate it with at the transactional. My bad, transactional, right? Now I'm a little bit confused whether this is Jakarta transaction or Spring Boot transaction. I think this is Spring Boot one, right? And if that is not the case, I'll let you know in the comment section. All right. So now this whole checkout function will be treated as a single transaction. That means all of the operation will either succeed completely, or if there exists some error, exception midway, whatever changes was made to the database will be rolled back. So your database will be in the consistent state. Right. So let's go ahead and run it and see if our cart becomes empty once we place an order. So let's go back to here in checkout. Yeah, this is there. A new order is placed, ID with ID 3. If we fetch a cart, if we fetch the cart, nothing is there. Yay, we have deleted items from the database. Right. So now what your checkout function does, it will place an order using the food items that you have added in your in your cart, and after that it will make sure that your cart is empty, right? So you can verify it in the database. In the order we'll have two order with ID 2 and 3. See, right? So yeah, this is how you can implement the checkout function in the uh, cart service. All right. Yeah. So with this, I think we can say that we have completely implemented the backend part of this restaurant application. So we have reached the end of this backend course. So we are building basically a restaurant app. We'll build the front end and the backend completely. And we have just completed building the backend of the restaurant app using Spring Boot framework, right? So in this whole course, we have learned a lot about the Spring Boot framework. That what is this framework, what features it provides. We have utilized a lot of features of Spring Boot, and we have seen how it makes life easier as a backend developer to create backend applications using Spring Boot, right? So we have, starting from the very basics, we have a lot of things like MVC architecture, how you can communicate to the database, and how you can utilize data JPA, Spring Data JPA, to create define the entities and the tables using that, right? And we have also learned about the security, Spring security, how you can secure your web apps, right, using roles and all, and how you can give access based on the role to a certain API endpoint or the class, right? So we have learned all of this. Not only that, we have learned how you can test the backend application or the endpoint using Postman, right? And we have also learned how you can write scripts in the Postman to perform some of the validations. Like basically, you can write unit tests in the Postman, right? Using the script and save the variables to utilize them later in the other calls, right? So yeah, this whole backend course, we had learned a lot, not just about Spring Boot, but other applications also like Postman and GitHub, right? So yeah, this is it for this whole course. And now since we have our backend ready, we will utilize the same backend into the next course that we are going to build. That would be basically your the this full stack course for restaurant app. All right. So we'll utilize the backend here. We are going in the next lecture, we are going to utilize Angular to build the front end for the restaurant app. Correct. So yeah, this is it for this lecture. Thank you guys for watching. Until the next video drops, keep coding. Thank you.